It's not just radio, it's Rockland World Radio. RocklandWorldRadio.com.
My fellow conservatives, are you tired of being lied to by the liberal media monopoly? Well, fear no more. My great love for America is driving me forward. Turn your radio dial all the way to the right, America, and learn the truth. It's time for Pep Talk with me, Preston Pepper.
Ah, yes, isn't that beautiful music to one's ears? It's been a long time. It's been a long time since old Preston. Thanks, Preston. Thank you very much. You know, we really had a tough time getting this show back on the air. It was a long process, a protracted process of litigation, but we finally won, and the kleptomaniacus brothers, those Greek liberals who own this place, had to let old Pep back for this special show. Why did they have to let him back? Because I was not going to let the second most important date on the American calendar after Super Sunday miss me on the air. This is going to be our Independence Day special, and even though it's not quite Independence Day, we're going to make it pretty independent. We've always been a kind of independent operation, and I really missed all of these people. It's not to say that old Pep wasn't doing important things in the cause of freedom while he was not broadcasting this show, Pep Talk, which is so beloved to thousands, if not millions, of loyal Americans who, tiring of Fox News and getting a little fed up with Rush and Glenn, decided to turn their radio dial all the way to the right and get my message of truth and hope on Pep Talk with Preston Pepper. I see old Rich. You know, it's like a long-lost brother watching Rich Red work over there with the camera. Look at this beautiful new set they've built for me. It looks like real wood over there. You know, I'm going to take a look here and see, you know, what it's made. It's got the look of real wood, Rich. It's got the look of real wood. Must have cost a fortune of money. That's the kind of place we are now. It's getting up there, and everybody wants me to come back. I'm not convinced it's the right thing yet, but I damn well feels good here, you know. I was sitting in my house this morning and doing what I usually do, that little Zen operation I utilize. I was hugging my porcupine. You know that, Jess. I hug a porcupine.
You hugging a porcupine?
You know, everybody's got cats and everybody's got dogs. Old Pep has a porcupine. Poor little fella wasn't hugged much till he ran into old Pep. It's a long, long Zen kind of thing, like I said. Goes back to Confucius 2,000 years ago. That sage Chinaman hugged a porcupine and invented acupuncture. It's written down somewhere. Well, anyway, let's take a look. Okay, it's July 4th special, second most important day after Super Sunday. You know, Bubbles. By the way, Jess, I think you'll be coming. We're going to have our Super Bowl party over at Eagles Claw. In fact, Bubbles intends to bring the game to Eagles Claw. We're not going to watch it on TV. She's bringing the entire game. I said, Bubs, have you got enough space out in the backyard for 80,000 people? She says, easily. And I'm going to mix up a whole lot of tang for all of the good folks who are coming there. It's going to be a wonderful time. Last year we had quite a Super Bowl party, and, you know, that's the truth. That's the time when, you know, Colonel West and I got Grover Norquist a little drunk, stripped and naked, and wrote "Death to the Pigs" all over him, and Bubbles' lipstick left him outside the public library. Most fun I'd had since I was back at school at John Wilkes Booth. I'll tell you, we had a damn funny time. He still doesn't know what happened to him. He comes around from time to time and says, I can't remember. I must have blacked out. I said, you must have blacked out, Grover. But don't think about it. Just go run along and do something about the taxes all of us don't want to pay. I mean, he's good for that. He's good for that. Now, what else is going on here? When old Pep left this show, and I think I did it rather nobly, I walked off into the fog, but I wasn't finished, and I decided it was time to take stock of what was going on in America. Things are bad, boys and girls. People will try to kid you that they've gotten better. Nothing could be further than from the truth. Do you realize now, as old Pep is speaking, as old Pep is squeezing his beloved little porcupine, 40,000 people a minute, Rich. 40,000 people. Alex, what do you think of that? 40,000 people a minute are losing their homes to foreclosure. Yeah, boo. And you know you have to blame for it Obama. His asinine economic policies have resulted in the fact that 40,000 people, that's bigger than most towns, 40,000 people will be out in the street because of those policies. It's enough to make me cry. My good friend Rory, one of the team, our real estate expert, he's disappeared. Apparently he drowned when his house went underwater down in Florida. It's the saddest thing I ever heard of in my life. We've got a team of scuba divers looking for him, but it doesn't look good. He's probably gone, and the only good thing is that that's one less salary we have to pay. But still, you know, money is only money, Alex. Money is only money, and the friendship of a guy like Rory Cripps is not easily replaced. Well, anyway, if you have any experience in that field, in high-end real estate, send a resume in, and we'll consider you as a replacement. But he's going to be a tough guy to follow with Rory Cripps. That's what's been going on in America. Everything is going to hell. And all Pep decided what I had to do was find out what was going on. Immediately, one thing was certain. The Republican Party is not doing a very good job of marketing itself. You know that, Jesse? The Republican Party, the party that we love more than our own mothers, not doing a very good job at marketing itself. It's become so radical, so damn radical, that people are fleeing the party for more moderate configurations like the neo-Nazis. It's something to scare the pants off of you. We are losing that kind of people. What am I going to do about it? Well, I'm not going to do what the jerks over party headquarters were intending to do. I called Karl Rove up, and I said, Karl, you know, we go back a long way, and I said, Karl, I'll never, ever forget what you did for Bubbles. When you fixed the election for Mother of the Year and you got the woman I love elected Mother of the Year, I knew I was bonded with you for life. You really did a great thing for all of us. Still, what are you going to do about getting the party to run right? I mean, we got a lot of stupid people out there doing things wrong, and I intend to make them do things right. He said, I don't know. I'll do a survey, Pep. I said, that's not good enough. And I sat up long and hard, Rich. I sat up through the night. And it wasn't easy. You know, my job is a tough job, a really tough job. I want to show you something that I have to endure. It's very tough, Rich. You know that. You've worked with me before. You know, we have to often sneak me out in a garbage can full of trash to get me past the liberals who are waiting downstairs to tar and feather old Pep, but it never happened. They used to have, what is that? What kind of noise? Where is this damn thing? The damn thing I wanted to show you. You know, it's really tough. I have here. Do I have it here? Okay. Are you ready for this? You are Pep fans, right? Are you Pep fans, Jess? Well, what do Pep fans think of a review of this show from the New York Times? They say, Pep Talk, the voice of unreason. You have to see it not to believe it. It might as well be based on a rant by Mel Gibson. What do you think about that? Well, I think there's a whole lot of worse things than being based on a rant by Mr. Mel Gibson. You know, but that's what I had to go through. It was terrible. Here I am, you know. And, you know, I don't need this kind of crap. You know, I told Bubbles when I decided to do the show again, I'm only doing it for Richard and America. Maybe not in that order, but, you know, he's a good friend of mine, and he needs me. He needs me desperately if he's ever going to die rich. Well, he is rich, but not another kind of rich. He's going to need the kind of leadership that I provided. We all know the story, don't we? You know how I got here, don't you? If you don't know, I'm going to tell you, because it's one of my favorite stories I love to tell. You want the story, Rich? Do you want the story one more time? I was the biggest thing in right-wing radio. Glenn Beck himself said Preston Pepper is the inspiration. I was riding high, riding for a fall, and the fall came in the person of one Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter, the alleged queen of the right, who was nothing more than a spy, a Mata Hari, who was working for the liberals to bring America, the Republican Party, and God down. It don't get much worse than It don't get much worse than that, boys and girls. After she dumped me like she'd done a whole lot of other good men, I inevitably fell into the bottomless pit of alcoholism. I wanted to fade away. I wanted to disappear. I was living out over the stable at Mrs. Blair's estate on the North Shore of Long Island, and I thought that was going to be the end of me. I was a hopeless drunk. Who cares about a hopeless drunk? Well, I'm going to tell you somebody did. Bubbles McAdoo, the jolly socialite from the Hudson River Valley, who in her younger days, Alex, was known as the Doris Duke of Dutchess County. She sent her man, Othello, to my door. I was sitting there waiting for the delivery boy from the local Huntington, Long Island liquor store, and imagine my surprise when I opened the door and this impressively dressed black man is staring at my eyes. I'm not a racist. It had nothing to do with that, but I was in a state of alcoholic shock. I took a swing at him, and I'm a pretty fair boxer. But little did I know, in a former life, Othello had been the welterweight champion of the world. I woke up in Eagles Claw, a magnificent mansion up on the Hudson River, in the shower with my clothes soaking wet, rubbing my jaw. For the next 6 months, we know this, don't we? For the next 6 weeks, he was my constant companion and worked me back into shape. I can think of no other word but torture to describe the process of sobering out old Pep when I was sober. When I was ready again to stand on my own 2 feet, I was ushered into the great lady's presence. "You're looking great, Pep," she said. And she went on to explain that she'd always been a big fan of my old show, the Preston Pepper Show, which predates Pep Talk. You know, most of the people in her staunch Republican family, they'd all been Rush Limbaugh fans, and I could see why. Back in those days, my good friend Rush, the fat man, put on a hell of a show. But Bubbles, sweet Bubbles, she'd always been a Preston Pepper fan, and I'm going to tell you something about the power of love and the power of money. When a woman like Bubbles McAdoo gets it in her head for something, be it a kitten or a puppy, an idea, racehorse, or a man, nothing's going to dissuade her. A turtle, too. She's got a turtle. From getting what she wants. She said, "You're looking good, Pep. You're looking really good, but we don't have time to palabra. We're going to go on down now to Rockland World Radio, where you got a date with Richard Quinn." Yeah. It was like the cavalry had arrived. You know, there was Richard sitting there. He wasn't so sure he'd looking at me, you know. Bubbles had vouched for me, but, you know, he was a little nervous about the whole thing. And he said, "Look, Pep, I know who you were, and I know you've been through some bad times. I know you've been down and out a A lot of people have. I'll tell you something. We're not a big company. We're not Fox. But we have the intention of one day going to the Super Bowl, but we don't have a quarterback. And that's when Bubbles McAdoo squeezed my hand and she said, Richard Quinn, don't speak such nonsense. I want you to tell Alex to dust off the space in the trophy cabinet. You got your quarterback. And that's how Pep Talk started. You know, the reason I have not left, I remember the first time I got on this stage, boys and girls. Oh, my God, and I remember the exact words. I said, good evening to all you good people out there. A lot of you didn't think I could make it. I had fallen so far. But the love of a good woman and the fact that I would rather die than see this liberal administration dragging this great country down. It keeps me going. I didn't want to go back to the culture wars. I had everything. I had a rich wife. But something wasn't right. I knew somebody had to get out there. And that's what I did. Well, using the same kind of determination and true grit, which has personified my career. You know what I did? I took myself a job after we failed in the elections. I didn't take a big job in some damn think tank. You know, I want to tell you people out there, by the way, you know, what the people in those think tanks are writing are nothing more than resumes. There's nothing going on there like what we do right here, which is nothing but the truth. From day one, Richard Quinn said, Pep, you tell the truth. You tell your truth. You tell our truth. You tell the truth to the people of America, and I'll stand and die with you if that's what it takes to drive the liberals out of Nyack. Oh, my God, what fights we've had. Anyway, I took a job on Main Street in a little diner. Old Pep working as a waiter, incognito. That means in disguise for my liberal friends, you know. They're not too good with the lang. And I worked hard and long, and I discovered a lot of things about the people of America. Rich, you can't believe what's going on out there. The people of America, one group wants civil disobedience, and the other wants open civil war. It's that bad. The United States has not been in a situation comparable to this one since the antebellum days before the Civil War. We got a party of give, and we got a party of take, but we don't have a party of give and take. But all of my life, I've been a deal maker, and I started thinking. It's time. It's time maybe for old Pep to get back in the culture wars, and that's exactly what I did. You know, in the pursuit of equality, I'm going to tell you something. There is nobody who is an equal to Preston Pepper. Nobody is my equal in the battle for equality. Did you know that, Jess? Yeah. Turn it up. Come on, everybody. You like it, don't you? The people of America have spoken. I also learned something else. The people of America are tired. Yeah, well, okay, you know, I love animals. I'm not going to be freaked out if somebody brings their horse in here, you know. I also found out that the people of America were completely disgusted with professional politicians, which is sad because really only professional politicians know how to run it, but they don't have to know that. And anyway, the people of America are looking for a hard-charging, high-flying, hard-headed He-Man.
Let me just say this.
Yes. You know, what we lack for professionalism over here, we make up for with determination, true grit, and truth. Anyway, the people of America are looking for somebody to be their president who simply doesn't want to be president. And, you know, when I heard this over and over again, I said, you know something? Nobody who I know doesn't want to be president more than Preston Pepper. And if I became president of the United States, I'm going to tell you something, I'd be the last president of the United States, because the first thing I would do is abolish that office. All presidents do is make speeches about things they can't achieve. We need that, Jess? No, we don't need that. My God. Yeah. Yeah, well, anyway, I would sack the whole lot of them. The whole damn lot of them. The Congress? What has the Congress ever done for me? What has the Congress ever done for you, Alex?
Nothing.
Exactly. And that's what I want to talk about more today. You know, we've got to do something to get these people out of there. It's driving me crazy what's not happening in the United States. And you know why? Because this so-called government doesn't know who to ask. You know how many times I called up the White House and wanted to speak to the president? I don't even remember anymore. Always seems he's out walking that dog when I call. You know, he didn't even have a dog until the election. Did not know that. You wouldn't. Not with a liberal media monopoly we have in the United States. How are you ever going to find out Obama didn't have a pet until it looked like he might win the Oval Office? Look, I'm going to tell you something. The good people of the United States love animal lovers. You love animals, right? What about you, Jess? Yeah, I can see you love animals. I know Richard has a dog. The thing is, most of these guys, they really don't like animals, and that's the big problem. I love animals. I love animals. I got 3 dogs, 2 cats, I'm getting a llama, and I got a porcupine. If I were president of the United States, it'd be a whole different situation over at the White House. We have a first dog, but why don't we have a first cat or 2 or 3? People want to see a president who's really immersed in fur. That's the kind of guy they would get if they got me there, you know? I mean, it's absolutely insane what's going on right now. You know, Jesse was playing around with some canned speeches back there, but you know, it's really amazing. There is probably a information gap, Alex, between your generation and mine. Your generation could not believe that at one time there was a president. There was a president of the United States of America, the greatest country there ever was. We've read about it in a great book I'm going to push in a little while called On the Eighth Day God Made America. That's the kind of book we all could do well to read. And this president was so honest and so forthright. This president was so honest and so forthright. I'm going to tell you something, boys and girls. That he could get in front of the cameras of the news media of the United States of America and say, without a doubt, perfectly honestly, I am not a crook.
No, whether or not their president is a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
Not a crook.
Let me just say this. Well, I'm not a crook.
Not a crook. I think it's time for Mr. Obama to have his Richard Nixon moment. It's time for him to get in front of the cameras and admit what he's been up to. It's not a birth certificate, but it's a start on the road to the type of bipartisan cooperation that can make this great land even greater. Yeah. That's the kind of presidency I would bring, because I don't want to be president. Nobody doesn't want to be president as much as Preston Pepper. But if I had to, I'm prepared to do the job. I'm prepared to strip this country down like a business, make it run right. All my life, I have been working in business and government with the intention of doing one thing: making America run right. Rich knew it from the start. Make America run right. We're going to do that. And that's why I came out here tonight. The 4th of July is coming. You know, I don't have to go there. You see this? Okay. You know, I could go back across the ocean where Bubbles bought me that castle and that Scottish title. They love me in Scotland. When I said I was coming here tonight, a lot of people said, why are you doing it? You know, my good friend Sean Connery said, you know, Pep, we love you so much in Scotland. Why don't you just come on over and spend the summer with us? And I was sorely tempted. I love the Scottish people, and they seem to love me. However, I'm an American, and I have to be here to help my people through this night with the light from above and all of that kind of stuff. You know what I mean, Rich? That's the kind of man I am. I'm an American. I love America. When I speak those words, I want to cry. I love America so much. There's just nothing I love more than America. Oh, my God, I see young Alex is here. My God, some of the folks I haven't seen in a long... Come here, son. Come here, son. I hear you're going to Georgetown.
George Washington. I missed you so much.
I know. It happens to all of us.
I didn't know what to do without you.
Well, you know, the best thing we can do then right now is I've written a little prayer for America to close this show. Oh, my God, what it says. Okay, are you ready, boys and girls? This is a little prayer old Pep wrote. It goes like this. These bifocals are tough on me. It says, Lord, by making sure that life is pointless, hard, and something or other. By making sure that life is pointless, hard and unfulfilling, our children will welcome death rather than to fear it. And fear is the greatest killer of them all. I want to say another prayer for the people out there who have less than I do. And I want to say a last prayer. I hope it stays that way. Thank you for coming to my return to Rockland World Radio. It's going to be a rough ride, boys and girls, but the captain's back with the people he loves, the people of the United States of America. You know, I didn't even get to this book here I'm going to read this summer. It's called Gang Bang in Da Nang by Jack Hagstrom, the man who invented the word action. Let me read you the first page. It's incredible. It goes, Little My Lee had more to offer military intelligence than her hot little body. Doesn't get much better than that. And the sex scene on page 2, fantastic. If you're looking for a book to read while you're at the beach this year, you can't do much better than Gang Bang in Da Nang. God bless you. See you soon. And remember, hug your porcupine. Hug your porcupine. Hug your porcupine!
It's not just radio, it's Rockland World Radio. RocklandWorldRadio.com